Hi, I'm Mike Pollock. You might know me as Dr. Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog. You might know me as the mayor from Kirby Right Back at Ya. You might know me as the interim narrator from Pokemon. Or maybe you know me as Greg from Ratatoing. But however you know me, you need to know you're watching In Conversation with Amber the Fangirl. ATF!
Hi guys, Amber here. Welcome back to another episode of In Conversation with ATF. Today, my guest has been the voice of Dr. either Robotnik or Dr. Eggman, as you may call him, since 2003, which is the year before I was born, actually. He's actually been the longest running Eggman voice actor, actually. Wow, what a range he has. He's also been the narrator for several Pokemon medias and has also dubbed several animes as well. Please welcome my guest, Mike Pollock. Hi.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Amber. Thanks for having me. And yes, it's been so long. Are my vocal cords tired? That doesn't make sense.
Now, I read your little terms of conditions on your website, because for those of you who don't know, Mike has a little thing. What is it, sort of like a declaration or an agreement or?
The rules of fan engagement.
The rules of fan engagement.
It's great to engage. Yeah, it's great to engage with fans, but there's public time, there's private time. So when I'm relaxing at home, hi, can we talk? No, not. So
yeah.
Keep the world sane.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What I was going to ask is, would you be able to just do a little bit of Dr. Eggman's voice now, or because of your terms and conditions, you're unable to?
Sure, I can say hi. I'm Dr. Eggman.
Oh man. Oh, that makes me feel 5 years old again, because when I was 5, I just remember playing on my little DS, playing Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and just constantly picking Dr. Eggman. Man, it just feels so long ago. And that was like 2009, so that was like only a few years after you started doing the voice, really.
Yeah, I am grateful for the longevity, but at the same time, I think, wow, that's been a while.
I was going to say,
I've aged.
You have outlived a lot of the voice actors, like spans. I mean, who have they had? I don't believe Ryan Drummond was doing it at the time. Jason Griffith, yeah, and then it went to Roger Craig Smith, and you were there when, who was it? Was it Kate Higgins who was doing Tails, and then she was replaced with Colleen O'Shaughnessy?
Yep, and she actually is back for the Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisp cartoon that was just released. Because she was in the original Sonic Colors, they said, well, she should be doing it for the cartoon.
Yeah, definitely. Just a real quick question. You know this new Sonic series that's coming out, Sonic Prime? I believe it's not using any of the original voice actors. Are you coming back for it, or can you not say due to NDAs?
The future is always unknown to me, so we'll find out together.
Exciting. So I'd really like to start this off by asking, how did you get the role of Dr. Robotnik?
The magic of networking. I had started voiceover stuff. One of the first roles that I was lucky enough to get was a walk-on for Pokemon, a cameo in one of the early Pokemon episodes, and that was by 4Kids Productions. And at that same time, 4Kids was building out a Saturday morning cartoon block called the Fox Box on the Fox Broadcasting Network. It eventually became 4Kids TV, and they had a whole bunch of shows they needed to fill with voices. So the director of Pokemon at the time was Eric Stewart. He was also directing stuff for the other 4Kids stuff. He remembered me and said, come audition for this. So he had me audition for Yu-Gi-Oh!, which was not for 4Kids TV, but was also a 4Kids production. But then he had me audition for Ultimate Muscle, and I booked a role in that. And I was in Kirby Right Back at Ya. The folks producing Kirby Right Back at Ya were also producing Sonic X when that dub came along. And they were very interested in having me read for Dr. Eggman because they knew my work from Kirby. So they said, come here, read this. And I auditioned. I auditioned again. I auditioned a third time. And after that third callback, I guess Sega was finally convinced that he'll do.
Yay. And I know 4Kids are famously known for really dubbing most Japanese animes that come to America. I know they've dubbed Sonic X, they've dubbed Yu-Gi-Oh!, they've done Pokemon, they've done the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, which I grew up watching. I believe it was on Fox. We had Fox Kids over here, but I don't really remember it, to be fair. I think it's because
stuff gets indicated and could go anywhere. But yeah, as long as you saw it, that's all that matters.
Yeah. So what was it like being on the Sonic X anime? Because I have one DVD of it, and it only has 2 episodes on it, and those are the only episodes I've watched. And I've had that DVD since I was like, I'm presuming about since I was like 6 or 7, because I do remember asking for a Sonic. You've heard of Sonic Underground, right? The one from the 90s. I asked for that, and my parents got me a Sonic X DVD. I was like, "What's this?" So I watched it. I was like, "Oh wow, this is." And then I found out it was a style of animation called anime, which is from Japan. So I was like, "Okay." And that's what got me into anime, because I'm into like Transformers, the Robots in Disguise anime, and any other ones like that, and Mobile Suit Gundam, and everything like that. So I was just wondering, what was it like working on the Sonic X show and for 4Kids as well?
4Kids was a joy. The 4Kids output is not always well loved by fans, because some think it was over edited and over localized and over adapted. Can't help you. But I was delighted to be part of some of the voices anyway. It was, for me, a moonlighting experience. I had a day job. I was writing comedy and song parodies and doing some voices for a syndicated radio company. We would do various morning show material for morning shows who couldn't do their own exciting content. And around about that time, I was able to sneak out at lunch and go record it for kids, among other things. So a couple days a week, maybe 3 days a week if I'm lucky, 4Kids would have me come in and do the promos. I was the voice of coming up next on the Fox Box, that stuff. Kirby Right Back at You, Sonic X, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles occasionally, various other shows like Viva Pinata I remember fondly. And those were not only a great excuse to get out of work for a couple hours, but tremendous fun. I got to live my childhood dream of being in cartoons. The 4Kids people were extremely nice. It was tons of fun, and a good time was had by all. And as far as Sonic X specifically, it was such a weird learning experience, knowing very little about Sonic when I started. I may not know everything, but I knew a lot more by the time Sonic X had finished. And if you can find the rest of them, I believe they're all on DVD, and if not, they are streaming. They should be streaming somewhere near you as well. So we'd love for you to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I believe I have a DVD downstairs somewhere. I'll have to dig it out at some point this evening if I can. Also, just a quick note to add to this recording. I have family over at the moment, including my 2-year-old nephew. You know what toddlers are like. They're loud, they're screechy, they're messy. They do everything. They go absolutely well. So if you do hear screaming in the background or anything, no, nothing bad is happening. It's just my nephew going crazy. So
tell him we said hello.
I will do. I'm trying to get him into cartoons at the moment.
Well, I'm sure they love Sonic X.
Yeah, I'll make sure to show him, definitely. But me need to show him a lot of stuff I used to love as a kid. It's nice to how so you can pass stuff down to different generations, and that's the best thing really about being an aunt or an uncle or a mum or a dad or grandpa, grandma, you know. Yeah, so Sonic. So you know how they got rid of the 4Kids actors, and you know Roger Craig Smith came in, Colleen O'Shaughnessy came. Did I say Shaughnessy right?
Yes.
Okay, good. When Colleen and Roger came in, how come? I'm not saying like obviously you should have been chucked off. How come you stayed on? Were you asked to stay on? Did they not tell you to go off, or was it just by sheer luck that they just allowed you to carry on as Eggman?
Actors are all freelancers, so we are hired by audition. We audition for a role, and if the producer likes us, they bring us on. And we keep roles the same way. We are hired generally at will, just like any job. When the guy in charge no longer needs you, bye-bye. So with Sonic, they held auditions in 2010, and they were nice enough to ask me to audition again. Oh. I was rather surprised by that, as I thought I was still doing it at the time. But one of my agents out in LA, who I seldom worked with, but they found her listed on the internet as representing me. Not a great match there, but anyway, they said, we have this role for you, and I think it's one you've done before, Dr. Eggman. Yeah, I thought I was still doing that, but anyway, they're auditioning for this, and here's the lines. Give it a try. So I did exactly what I'd been doing for the past 7 years, and I guess they seemed to like it because they asked me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, I didn't know that you re-auditioned for it. I thought they just kept you on as the voice. But I'm definitely glad they re-chose you. Like, I mean, I can't think to who else could have voiced Dr. Eggman today. I mean, he's had a lot of voice actors in the past. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously he's had different ones for the cartoons. I'm trying to think of who.
Immediately before me was Dean Bristow.
Dean Bristow, yeah. He's Sonic Adventure. I grew up playing on my brother's Xbox, and I loved it. I always tried to complete the game, and it was just amazing.
I was originally hired as a voice match. They gave me samples for Sonic X and said, match this guy. I'm Dean Bristow. And that's what took the 3 callbacks originally to get Sega convinced. And then before there was Long John Baldry. His name comes up a lot.
Yeah, that's it. And Jim Cummings as well. He did it for, I think it was for Adventures of Sonic, or was that long
I can't keep the track as I wasn't there.
And then Gary Chalk did his voice in Sonic Underground.
Yep. So there's plenty of room for lots of people in the role, I guess. And then, of course, the recent film, and then the future, who knows?
Yeah, definitely. I had a good question, but it's just completely skipped. Yes. I think you've pretty much answered it with the whole voice matching thing. I was going to ask, did you watch any of the Sonic cartoons before to get yourself prepared for the audition, like the previous cartoons, or did you listen to any of the previous game voices? Deem, is his name Dean or Deem?
Deem.
Deem. So did you listen to any of the clips from video games or cartoons to get yourself ready for the role?
4Kids supplied me with a couple dozen clips from, I guess, the most recent video game. I don't know, because they were just isolated clips with reference around them, but I just listened and repeated like you learn a foreign language. So I spent a couple hours just listening back and doing the voice, okay. And then when I went in for the audition, I did what I had practiced, and again, I was more convinced than they were. Took a while. But yeah, it was just a simple listen and repeat. And as for the other shows, I've stumbled upon them. I remember shortly after being cast as Dr. Eggman, we were having a vacation at the New Jersey shore in a very creepy motel, as I recall.
Yeah.
And there was about 4 channels of TV available. And we were desperate for something to watch. And I was flipping through channels on, I think, the old rotary tuning telly. And sure enough, oh, that's that Sonic cartoon. Let me watch that for a minute. Okay, that was enough. I lasted about 2 minutes. I didn't want to influence myself with something that may not be relevant to what I was doing at the time. But it's like, okay, I get it. Thank you. That's enough.
Yeah, I completely understand, to be fair. Yeah, I've tried. Well, I mean, obviously there's tons of remakes of Transformers. They've had so many remakes. There's some I cannot bear to watch, like obviously the recent Rescue Bots Academy and just some of the older stuff, like Beast Wars. I can't even watch. It's just, crazy. And it makes sense because obviously Transformers Sonic, they've both had anime spin-offs. So, yeah, that's related.
With most cartoons, it's what people grew up with, which is what they like. So I know there are some who grew up with the previous actors and might prefer them to me a little bit. And I know that if I try to watch newer versions of Bugs Bunny, I grew up with Mel Blanc. So not quite. It's not.
Yeah.
You like what you like.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to ask, who were your influences growing up, voice actor-wise?
Mel Blanc was definitely one, because Saturday morning cartoons and I think cartoons before school, waking up in the morning, other cartoons on, I'm having cereal, I'm watching cartoons, getting home from school, watching cartoons. Rocky and Bullwinkle was an excellent cartoon influence as a kid. So Bill Scott, June Foray, all those folks.
Mike, you would have been perfect. I just made a documentary on Bill Scott. Oh man, I should have reached out to you. I was going to say, I saw some voice actors, I was like, they couldn't have worked with Bill. They're probably just, because their career started after his. But they grew up with him. The
closest I got when I was a very resourceful high school kid. And I was on a college radio station, a call-in quiz show that we did. And we were collecting our favorite celebrities to do a little running gag. So it was pre-internet. It would have been 87? No.
Bill died in 85, if it helps.
Yeah, it was 82 and 83. So somewhere around around 1982, I did a lot of phone calling and found the agents for Bill Scott, June Foray, and Paul Freese. Called them up and said, "Hi, you don't know me. I'm a high school kid, and we're big fans. And can we have you be in our radio show?" And surprisingly, they all said yes. which is bizarre because I'm now in the opposite situation. I don't know if I'd say yes, but they had their careers as those characters had run their course. So I've got Dr. Eggman still alive and well and living. And they were, two out of the three of them were very good. Bill and June, lovely, vibrant. Paul Frees, obviously, a little up in years. Took a little editing to make him sound much.
Yeah, I was going to say, Paul didn't kind of slow down towards the end. Like, by 85, he had retired and moved to Northern California, so... Yeah.
And he was very generous, and I cleaned up his performances as much as possible. But they all did their classic voices, and that was really cool.
Wow.
And had we known what would happen 30 years down the line, I could say, hey, I'm in cartoons now. But they don't really care.
Wow.
It's fine. But they were so nice. They were...
Should have got it for my documentary. Nice. Oh, I'll definitely send you it though. I will definitely send you it. I'm having an audio engineer clean up the tracks, so.
Excellent. If there's a sequel, let me know. I'll stop in for that.
Maybe. I could be. I know I did one on Rocky Bullwinkle like in 2019. I can't. There's already a June Frey documentary, so I don't really need to do that. I think if I do ever get the time, probably a Frank Welker documentary or something like that. Have you worked with Frank before?
I have not. He is still alive and still very much working, but I've not yet had the pleasure.
Wow.
I'm probably, if you do the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, I am probably 1 or 2 degrees from Frank Welker based on people I've worked with who have worked with Frank Welker.
Oh yeah, but I think Roger Craig Smith's worked with him before. I think.
So there's my 1 degree of separation.
Yeah, I've been trying to get Roger on this show actually. Yeah, I've struggled to find his agent, but hopefully I'll get there someday.
Find him on Twitter. He's usually friendly and helpful.
Yeah, I'll give him a tweet after we've recorded this. Right, so moving on to the video games of Dr. Eggman. You've obviously done the Olympic Games ones, you've done the more recent ones, and wow, what was it like especially? Did you like, because obviously the Olympic ones, they have more variety, like different sports and everything like that. So what was it like sort of recording the dialogue for them? Because you got to do a lot of Foley, like sound effects, like grunts or shouts or cheers or, you know, something along those lines.
There were very few lines of dialogue, and it was mostly a lot of noises. So yeah, it was bizarre. I had that was probably my second or third video game, and I was kind of getting the hang of, these are the reacts. These are just the random noises. And there's a lot of that in video games, and there was a lot of that in these video games. So it's tedious and challenging. It's never bad, but it's just, I understand the purpose of doing these. It's weird to do a whole bunch of them in a row, but I guess I'm facile enough at doing them that the directors get what they need and we can move on. But It's, as someone who, my early career was in radio, which is very much linear and story-based and with words, this was like, there's not a lot of words here, but okay. I hope you like these noises, because that's what we're doing.
By any chance, did you record anything for Dr. Eggman for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
Ooh, again, the future is always unknown to me, so if I have, I couldn't tell you.
They're adding one more DLC character, but...
I've heard.
What if it's Eggman?
I have received a lot of questions and comments from people who would like it to be Dr. Eggman, and if it is, that's great. But if it is, I'm not the one to spoil it.
I was going to say, I'm surprised he's not like an assist trophy or anything, because I really did want him to be an assist trophy. Yeah, he would have been a great, because I think Knuckles is one. He's one of he comes on stage and then he's like, you know, flying over there and just knocking out everyone. So
we'll have to see what the future holds.
So I don't know when the last one's getting revealed. I'm presuming around next month, October. Don't know.
It's got to be sometime soon because the conversation has been ramping up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they announced Kazuya Mishima from Tekken 7, I think in June. Yeah, so I presume they do it around September, October time. I'm presuming. Crossed. Yeah, hopefully. We'll have to see. Actually, I've got a good question for you. Do you prefer working on anime or actual animation, like the animation where you record the dialogue first, then it gets animated to your voice?
The prelay versus dubbing is the question.
Prelay versus dubbing.
Yeah, the jargon we use. Given the choice, I love doing both because I love working and I love getting to perform and act. Given the choice, prelay is much more freeing. There is no constraint of, okay, the line is this long and there are this many flaps and you have to dub into this many flaps. that didn't quite match. Let's do it again. Put a breath here. Let's stretch that out a little bit. Okay, we're doing it again. Do we have to match the flat? With prelay, meet verse animation later. So it's just like doing a radio play. The radio was stuff that I used to do. Here's just the audio track. Hey, you very talented animators, make the voices fit to me. So I love doing both, and obviously I don't get to choose, oh, this is a dub. Can't you make it a prelay? It doesn't work that way. We're dubbing something from a foreign language. Okay. It's a unique challenge and one I figured out how to do after all these years, so I can make it work. And thanks to the magic of digital editing, the engineers do a lot of the heavy lifting that I don't really have to do.
Yeah.
But if I have the choice, if the choice is ever not, I don't think the choice has ever been, okay, we're doing a thing and it could either be a dub or a prelay. Which would you prefer? Make it a prelay.
Yeah, I agree. Even though I've only had one voiceover job myself, it wasn't anything big. I'm not sure if you can really see, but there's like a sort of helicopter ride just
Glasses on.
here.
Yeah,
I
okay.
have this photo here. This is me with my first voiceover role, which was a corner-operated children's helicopter ride.
Excellent.
So it was quite fun. That was quite fun to do. We recorded all the lines in my bedroom. The product was exhibited at the EAG convention thing for amusement machines at the I forgot the name of the for a second I forgot the name of the venue. It's the XL in London.
Heard of it.
And yeah, it was very fun, definitely.
Cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. Have you been to the UK before?
3 times now?
Wow.
Yes, I was there once as a secret guest. No, it's going to be 4. I was a secret guest of Summer of Sonic 2010. I was not allowed to be there officially, I found out, from the convention. So they brought me over just as a guest to mill about in the crowd and eventually be discovered as, oh my God, Mike is here. Oh, shit, Mike is here. Then I went back for the London Anime and Gaming Convention twice. And then somewhere in there was the more recent Summer of Sonic that brought me back as an official guest.
Oh, wow.
So those were lovely. Couple times on my own, couple times with the family. We all had a blast.
Aww.
Fantastic.
I'm glad to hear
when
that.
all this unpleasantness goes away, we'll get to be back.
You'll have to come see me unless you get to like a convention, because I believe conventions are now starting up again in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of changes. If I say so myself, I'm going to ones in Scotland, Edinburgh, and Liverpool as well. I'm not sure how it's going to go down with masks and social distancing and stuff, but I've heard at the MCM Comic Con, which are in Birmingham and London, they are having plexiglass. Have you heard of plexiglass? They're having that in photo ops, just between you and the guest.
Right.
No masks, but plexiglass.
So the plexiglass would be edge on, so you wouldn't see that.
It would be edge on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So otherwise, it's hi. I'm in a box. I'm at the zoo. Look at me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is the such and such exhibit.
Just between. That's fine.
Yeah. It'd make sense if you were like cosplaying as an animal and you were in that sort of box.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. It just to me it just doesn't feel like you're actually meeting the celebrity. It just feels like you're just meeting them behind glass. You're like just seeing them rather than.
You might as well go to the zoo.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some local cons are starting. I'm not yet been invited to any. Hello, cons, have me. But my friends that have been in them have pictures of them with masks on, and I think they've done some of the. I've seen. I think at one photo op where there was at least a telltale line in the middle of, "Oh, that's a sheet of plexiglass." All right.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah, with all these precautions around, and
Go
I
to
have
Starbucks and the baristas are behind plexiglass, so you get used to it.
a lot of shops here are people around plexiglass. I have booked a photo op with myself, Frank Welker, and Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime himself, in Edinburgh. I really hope they don't use plexiglass because I couldn't afford a photo op last time. I can only afford Frank's autograph, because they came over to the UK just before the pandemic. They came to Liverpool. So I don't want just to be stuck behind 2 pieces of plexiglass. Actually, I've just thought of a good idea. Like, they could be pushing onto the plexiglass and I'm doing like a sort of Spider-Man climb up the wall. I guess that's one good thing out of it, I suppose.
There's that, or the science boxes with the little rubber gloves built in. And then you just stick your hands in the gloves through it. And hi, we're shaking hands in gloves. It's weird. Okay.
Oh, that'd be really cool. Yeah, definitely. Because I remember last time, I I think this was just when COVID was starting up in the UK. This wasn't even with Frank because Frank prefers fist bumps over like hugs and stuff like that. Elijah Wood was at the table next to him. No hugs, no handshakes, no fist bumps, no contact whatsoever.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
It's a weird thing. Even before the pandemic, you weren't thinking about it as much, but there was a lot of handshaking, and I may have come away from a con with a cold or two that I didn't have before. So it's understandable, and it's weird, and yeah, it's hugs. I know were such a popular thing at con. Well, depends on the level of hug, but they were popular, and then suddenly they couldn't be popular.
I
But
know.
if everyone's wearing hazmat suits, maybe there's that.
Perhaps. I mean, the whole mask thing has just been lifted in the UK. It's obviously not mandatory to wear a mask, but you can choose to wear a mask or not. I kind of decided to go without a mask to the nearest IKEA. We have an IKEA, which store is about like an hour away from me, so I went there last week without a mask, and it just felt odd because I've been so used to it for the past year, and yeah, it just felt odd. And you're thinking, this used to be normal. I'm like, did it? I don't remember, honestly.
The restrictions have been lifted here for a couple of months, and we just did a couple of indoor water parks, and masks were few and far between. We were fully vaxxed, so we were okay with it. But you looked at the people with masks as, oh, right, there's a thing going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just weird for me, though, because I'm not vaccinated. That's not because I'm anti-vax, but because in the UK, 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds haven't been offered it. Well, to be fair, they have been offered it because I got a letter yesterday saying I'm now able to get my first vaccine, but they don't have a jabbing centre near me. The rest, or most of them, were all over 18. So I'm having to wait another few weeks to see if an over 16 one pops up near me so I can get my first vax. My first COVID jab. So, yeah.
They trickle down in age from me and my wife down to my son, down to my daughter. So,
it took a very long time in the UK. I mean, in America, there's already like 13-year-olds vaccinated and stuff.
Yeah.
Over here, I've had to wait a year to be called up.
I've been following it from a distance. We take a lot of UK radio shows, so I've heard a lot of the chatter of people not getting their jabs.
Really? Oh, wow. Which ones do you listen to? Do you listen to BBC Radio?
We were a lot of the BBC shows. We take the show tunes ones. So on BBC, we get Elaine Page on Sunday. From BBC Local Radio, we have Centre Stage on BBC Radio Stoke, and songs from the shows on BBC Radio Tees. And then from the two dedicated show tune stations, Magic the Musicals, we take Ruthie Henschel, Behind the Stage Door with Ruthie Henschel, The Green Room with Julian Bird, and then some of their specials. And then there's also Box Office Radio, which is a weird sort of volunteer station that we don't listen to it nearly often enough.
I was going to say, because I was on a BBC radio station about 2 years ago. I was on BBC Radio London talking about autism and like stuff like that on the Joe Good show. She was very lovely and such a good experience just to be at the broadcasting house in Marylebone, London. Excellent. Just doing all that. Very fun.
Yeah, sometime we'll take the BBC London, the overnight calling shows that are on Radio 5 Live.
Oh yeah, because different time difference, isn't there? Yeah. So let's get back to your voices then, shall we?
Please.
Now, what has been the most favourite role that you've done? I know that's like picking your favourite child, but let's just say you can't pick Eggman. Let's just say you can pick any other show you've done. I know Eggman's probably your favourite role you've ever done.
Yeah.
But any other show.
As I like to say, my favourite role will always be the next one, and picking one favourite is unfair to all the other ones. You know, the folks that produce stuff say, well, why aren't we the favourite? Eh? But I like the voices that make me laugh. So before Eggman came along, there was Meat from Ultimate Muscle, which was my New York truck driver voice. This voice just makes me laugh. So whenever I can sneak that voice in or some variation on that voice, that will make me laugh. And on Sonic Boom, there was the Mayor, which is a riff on Ed Wynn, who, if in live action, you would know him as Uncle Albert in the original Mary Poppins film, but he was also in the animated Alice in Wonderland as the Mad Hatter.
Yeah,
and
he was.
Then his voice was also co-opted for many characters. Uncle Cartoon, I believe, in Wreck-It Ralph, and around here, Mayor McCheese.
Captain Peter Peachford in Rocking Bullwinkle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's basically this voice.
That's it! That's the voice!
Thank you very much. McDonald's here did a series of cartoons, and there was a cheeseburger named Mayor McCheese, and he did this voice. So yeah, that's
I see.
And whenever I can sneak that in, it's something I will.
Yeah, that's wow. Honestly, I know a lot of people who could do a really good Edwin impression. Like there's Corey Burton. There's I think Jeff Bennett can do a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I think, or is that Bill? Can he do Bill Thompson? I don't know.
He did it for something, and I should have known because I think he came up in when we were deciding on the voice for the mayor in Sonic Boom. Jeff came up, so yeah, he does it for something.
Wait, Jeff Bennett's in Sonic Boom?
No, he does it for other stuff.
Oh, right.
And Corey Burton, I believe, does it for something because he came up in conversation.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know somewhere.
It's a very popular voice, and I'm glad that it's a very popular voice because it's funny and it should be kept alive.
Yeah, definitely. Oh gosh, I literally know it. I think. Oh no, I don't think I know it. Oh, I just know it, but it's at the back of my head. Oh, gosh, I don't know. I think
that's okay.
Unless I'm thinking of Paul Frees, I don't know.
And we also recycled the voice of Bill Thompson's voice as Droopy Dog. Hello, folks. We did this sort of a voice for Sonic Boom for Fastidious Fever.
Yeah, I was going to say Jeff Bennett pretty much does Bill Thompson's voices now. He does the White Rabbit, he does Mr. Smee from Peter Pan, and everything along those lines. So yeah, definitely. Have you got anything in the pipeline that you can say about at the moment, or is it all NDAs?
There's a very cool audio podcast. There are a couple that I'm in. One is Sonic and Tails R, which is an unofficial fan thing that I found my way into. But there's another podcast called Earth Eclipsed, which I think they've still just released episode 1. I'm not in episode 1. I'm only in one of the episodes. About half a dozen down the line. So if you want to follow it from the top and wait for me, great. There are a couple of very impressive video games coming out, but they are under NDA. But they are not Sonic related, but they are related to possibly a certain cinematic universe that you may or may not know. I've already said too much. And what's out that people have liked? Bread Barbershop is out. I believe it's on Netflix here. I'm guessing it's on Netflix there.
Yeah, I can see it on IMDb. I'm looking at your IMDb right now.
Please. That's been very popular.
Oh, Courtney Shaw's in it. I know her.
And I'm on a bunch of other Netflix, surprisingly not animated, just live action documentary things that need English voices. So I'm doing a bunch of those now. So search for me on Netflix and you'll find stuff. And how about that?
I will definitely do that after this. Can I ask you a quick question? You know how you put your glasses on before? When I look at your glasses now, they look like they're splits. How do they connect?
They are click magnetic readers.
Oh, wow! I have never seen those before.
They're the coolest thing.
They are so cool.
They may or may not be available there. I imagine you can import them.
I've never heard of them or ever seen them in person.
They are the coolest things. I use the old man half frame because when I'm dubbing stuff, especially I have to look at the script, at the screen, at the script, at the screen. So I don't get a big line of plastic in my glasses, in my vision. But they're also RXable. So if you wear prescription lenses, you can have your local optical lab take them and put your own lenses in. We did that for my son when he was much younger and liked to twist his glasses apart. And I said, okay, now you're going to get these where you can twist them apart and not break them because they'll come apart first. So he's outgrown that stage. But if you wear prescription lenses, you can turn those into prescription.
Sweet. How many children do you have?
I have a 19-year-old son. We are shipping him off to university next weekend. And a 14-year-old daughter who is in her second year of high school.
Oh, wow. So she's not that far from me then, because I'm only 17. I'm only about... I like saying, like, something doors up or doors down, because it's just kind of sounds cool. So I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm 3 doors up from her. You're like, what? 3 years. 3 years.
I'm sure you'd get along swimmingly with her, and he doesn't get along swimmingly with anyone. I didn't say that out loud. No, that's not true.
Do pass on my regards, though.
Given the choice, you get along with my daughter very well, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Is there a job that you do not, you do not like, or is there a voice you ever regret doing, or a job or anything like that?
The big, yelly, screamy voices yelling at the top of your lungs, it's an occupational hazard, but I'll come off hoarse and scratchy, and that's just... It's the nature of the business. I try to avoid them as I'm aging, as the voice becomes less elastic and doesn't recover as well and as quickly. I try to stay away, but obviously for Dr. Eggman, you do what you got to do. But if it's an audition that I might pass on because it's big and violent, I might think twice about it. there are some. I had a negative experience with audiobooks, and not. I think that was just the genre, and I didn't mesh well. I have a somewhat short attention span, so
Same as me.
I could do a 4-hour session of something, and then another week another 4-hour session. But audiobooks, they were day after day 6-hour sessions, and it gets tedious. And especially the books that I did, one was about Nazis and one was about physics. Not the most uplifting and engaging
Interesting
material.
thing.
So it's like, okay, I understand that this needs to be done. I don't know who's going to want to hear this, but here we are, 6 hours a day of this. So they didn't get great reviews. I don't think that studio has asked me back after all these years. So that was a fun experiment, not one we're going to repeat. You're welcome to check them out. They're mentioned on my website, but I don't recommend them.
Okay, well, I won't check them out then. I'm just going through your IMDb just to bring up. Oh, you were in Ratatoing.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
It's right here.
You've got the DVD.
Never far from my heart.
Oh wow! I've heard of this movie so many times, but never watched it.
It's a cult favorite. Reviled. It's the show you love to hate, and there's a whole bunch of them. There's one of the studios I work with. As I explain to people and have to explain to people, I provide a service. I love to act, but it's acting as a service. I am a small business. I sell my services. I voice things that can't voice themselves. Sometimes they're big and splashy and high profile, like Dr. Eggman. Sometimes they're boring corporate narrations on how to factor a loan. And sometimes they're things like Ratatoing. Some company decided, we have this cartoon, we'd like to distribute it around the world, so it's got to be in other languages. Find some people to do it. So a company that I work with, they adapt the scripts, they hire the actors. I was one of the actors they hired, and they brought me in. I played 4 different roles in that. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you certainly did. I'm literally just looking at it right now. You were Greg, you were the narrator, Indecisive Rat, and one just as human.
Yep, some guy at the end. And I came in, I spent 2 hours, we did all that stuff in 2 hours. I made the director happy, and I was on my way.
Brinquido.
Yep.
Hang on,
provided.
wait.
Yeah.
It says you are credited as Herb Lawrence.
Yes, I was.
Is it true that it's because you guys were part of a union at the time, and to kind of distinguish yourself from, obviously, your names, you had to be renamed for the credits because it was a non-union project? Is that true?
In that, it was less of that and more that my father had just passed away. So I figured what better way to immortalize my dad, Herbert Lawrence Pollock, by getting his name in some credits. So that's my story.
Sweet.
Thank you. So, sorry it had to be Ratatoing, Dad, but...
well, at least it's a cult favourite now. You know, it may not have been popular then, but it's popular now, as I like to say. Wow, I've just noticed you've been in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. You were the narrator in Pikachu's Winter Vacation. I literally have that on VHS tape. If that makes you feel a bit old.
I was the narrator of Pokemon for a couple of years, actually, when the original one had to step aside for some businessy reasons. And then when 4Kids lost the license and it went floating around to other companies, he was able to come back. So it worked out for both of us.
Do you remember who the original narrator was?
Roger Parsons.
Roger Parsons.
And still is. To this very day.
I see. Well, I believe you've done some more stuff for Pokemon lately, because I'm looking at your IMDb. Well, you were in every Pokemon ever. From I don't know who it sounds like something Smosh would do, but it's not Smosh made. But you know, it's like a little film someone's done or something like that.
They've called me in for a bunch of stuff, so I'm a freelancer. I get to work for whoever wants to hire me. So Pokemon called me in before the first thing I did was Pokemon. Then 4Kids kept having me first up when they were doing Pokemon, and then when Pokemon ended up with Duart Productions, and before that with what was their name, Taj Productions. Once our 2-year non-compete clause with 4Kids expired, I was able to work for Pokemon again. So whenever they want to call me, I'm happy to accommodate.
Just ring you up. Yeah, but that's made me think of some other people who were part of a company then freelance. I mean, obviously Bill Scott was exclusively Jay Ward, and then he freelanced for his final years doing work for like Disney and Hanna-Barbera and stuff like that. If you look at Frank Welcome, Peter Cullen, they're like attached to Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Hasbro, everything along those lines. I think it's better to be freelance because you get to work on a variety of different projects and not just, oh yeah, the same talking robots over and over and over again.
These days, freelance tends to be more common. In the old days, the studio system where stars would sign for, I'm exclusive with MGM, I'm in all their films. That has changed now. The freelance economy is a thing. So you may be signed exclusively with an agent or a manager, but the agent and manager will get you work wherever they can. So fewer people, unless it's your show, like the guys who do South Park, they do their own shows. It's their shows. Yeah. But they are less likely to be in other stuff because they've got their own thing. But the other any other actor is free to work with them, and they presumably are free to work with other companies as well. But I am free to work with whoever wants me. So hey, LA, give me a call.
I'll probably hire you for something if I need in the future, if I need any voices for anything or anything, or if I need any work, you know, I just scout around and just, you know, well, I'm working on a voice reel at the moment, so hopefully I'm going to get that public soon and then just send it off to different agencies, companies, show producers, everything like that. Luck. Thank you, I appreciate it. And best of luck to you too on your next job, whatever it may be.
Thank you. I'm doing some type of commercial this coming Tuesday, but I can't tell you what.
Okay. Really, we're coming to the end of our interview now. I wanted to ask one tiny last question.
Sure.
If I can remember it, because I think it's just completely flown out of my head. Oh yes, just come back. Have you got a memorable story from behind the scenes recording with any of your cast members from any of your shows? It can be funny, it can be memorable, or just something you'll never forget.
This will sound highly selfish and egotistical, but yes, I will. From Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom was a tremendous experience, mostly because, unlike even all the prelay stuff I do, it was ensemble style. So we were all together, if not in the same room, because they're in LA and I'm in New York, we were at least live on the internet talking in real time. So that was cool. And then a couple of times we got flown out and I got to do stuff in person with the cast, which was great fun. But one of the coolest things is Ad-Libs. I will ad-lib stuff, but the producers who have the final say may or may not use what I do. So I'm always interested in stuff I do that I ad-lib that gets used. So in one little scene in Sonic Boom, where I was talking to an alien overlord whose name escapes me, but Wally Wingert was doing his voice.
Love Wally Wingert. I've had him on the show before. Our interview was like an hour and a half, probably the longest one I've done.
He was doing, I forget who the voice was based on. Again, years have passed and I should remember. But one of his, the character traits of that character was the way he pronounced robot, which was the old school 50s LA way of saying robot. You don't hear that very often. But that was his thing in the character. So I was listening to him deliver his lines. We had a scene together. And I caught that and I said, oh, I got something funny I could do here. So as he was delivering his line and I had to respond with my line, I had Dr. Eggman at the end of the line say, something about my robot, the robot. I laughed. The producer laughed. The producer kept that in because he found that funny. Said, yes, that's a win. So I was like, cool. My little contribution. I'll take that.
I remember another scene. I don't think this was improvised, but it was definitely a nod to Roger Craig Smith. It was like, he said Roger over like a mic of the watch thing or something, and he's like, and they're like, who's Roger? And it's like, oh yeah, that's me or something like that. I think I've got it here.
That was scripted.
Coming in for a hard landing, Tails. You got me covered? Roger. Who's Roger? He's talking to me.
That was completely scripted. Wondered how that played in the dubs of the other languages where the joke may not work, but okay.
I was gonna. Okay, actually, yeah. Unless they had to get a guy called Roger to do all that.
Yeah,
you never know. Wow. Mike, it's been really fun talking to you. You have been one of the most energetic voice actors I've ever had on the show. Your enthusiasm has literally just brightened my evening.
Thank you. This is before coffee, so...
Oh, is it? Back. Oh, wow. Yes. Oh, man, we'll have to do one pre-coffee and post-coffee then.
Sure. Turn down the brightness and the volume because it'll be off the wall.
Yes.
Excellent, Amber. Thank you so much. A lovely time.
You're welcome. So, Mike, where can we find you on social media? Do you have social media? Do you have a website?
I am It's a Mike in most places. ITSAMIKE. So it's a Mike.com is my website. I'm It's a Mike on Twitter. I'm It's a Mike on Facebook and Instagram because it's Instagram. I'm Mike.Pollock. I barely use Instagram. I signed up for Instagram so I can get a free meal at a restaurant.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Never heard of that deal before.
Yeah, share us on Instagram. Fine, hi. So I've been dragged into the Instagram culture against my better judgment. Twitter is most active. Facebook is a legacy thing because I've maxed out the 5,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to find me, and the website tells you about my rules of fan engagement, where don't be a pest, don't barge in private messaging because that's just very invasive.
Yeah.
Unless we have business to discuss.
Then you got to remember, these people are also actual humans. They're not just voice actors. They're not like people you can just harass and say, oh yeah, where do you live? I want to send you something. They are humans just like us. They have feelings.
You got locks on your doors for a reason. You don't want people wandering into your living room. So a little distance keeps us sane and healthy. But It's a Mike on Twitter, probably the best place to find me, see what I'm up to and like that.
Sweet. So, to you at home, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Do like this video if you are a fan of Mike Pollock. Of course, why wouldn't you be a fan of Mike Pollock? He's Dr freaking Eggman, of course.
And like rhymes with Mike, so how can you not?
Like Mike and Ike. Yeah, the little candies. I haven't
Those
tried
are good too.
I haven't tried them before. Do you think I should try them?
Depends on what you're looking for in a candy. They're all right.
Sweet. Something sweet? I don't know.
If you don't like them, give them to a friend. It's very
okay.
simple.
That's a good idea. I'll give it to my friend who likes Mike and Ike.
Perfect.
Yeah, that sounds good. So again, to you at home, thank you for watching, and it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Mr. Mike Pollock. Thank you for watching. We'll see you around. Goodbye and cut.